So Goblin Slayer episode 2. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Was more world building than anything.
Yeah, it wasn't as much new action as the first episode.
Yeah, but it need to be. First, before anything, I just want to address the bit of an uproar I've been seeing about it.
I think it's ridiculous.
In modern memory, at least, I can't think of a single thing that has that's just caused such a shit show in the way it has. And for the detractors of the show, I'm seeing two camps go at it. The too smart for you camp.
And the SJWs.
And the bitches.
You mean the SJWs?
No, it's not even SJWs. It's just little bitches.
It's the people who watch Steven Universe. You know who you are.
Well, no, it's really not. It's just I can't describe them as anything but bitches. So there's the camp. We'll start with the bitch camp. The oh god, rape is so awful. Oh god, how could they show something like that just so casually?
Because it's what goblins do.
Well, that aside, let's say you're so horrified by it.
Then don't watch it?
Well, not even that. Berserk is one of the most beloved mangas and animes and just series in general of all time. And I couldn't count on my fingers how many rapes in Berserk. And it's never brought up as a negative to the series. In fact, it only just people use it to bolster how dark and depraved it is in good ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the too smart for you crowd who keeps going on, oh, this show's just edgy. It's edgy. Which,
okay.
Edgy's not an argument.
It's an edgy show.
It's,
sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
I don't...
Powerpuff Girls is that way.
Powerpuff Girls isn't edgy.
No, but I mean, if people think it's too edgy, they can, go watch Powerpuff Girls or some shit.
Well, listen, for the people that are afraid of edge, 90s Powerpuff Girls is probably too edgy for them.
That's true.
But, I mean, I don't like edgy being thrown around as a reason for something to be bad, because I happen to like edgy.
Well, and, it's more reflective of the human condition, just because, you can't have everything be rainbows and sunshine all the time. Humanity is depraved. Humanity is edgy. Take it or leave it. It's the world you live in, so you might as well live in reality.
Yeah, and just, it's... Honestly, when I first saw everyone going on about the entire situation, I was speechless. Because I've never seen this type of reaction in this scale before. Because, a lot of people I saw, and I'm getting this from videos I've seen going on Reddit, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. I showed you that scene from Terraformers.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who's seen Terraformers, especially when it was airing, remembers just how censored it was and how bloody and violent it was. And people were calling for the exact opposite reaction. They wanted it to be uncensored, and now they're calling for Crunchyroll to censor, or at least restrict the show. I'm honestly I'm speechless.
In the long run, censorship only hurts the show, and it only hurts anything, with banned books, anything like that. Censorship is always going to ban is always going to prevent people from enjoying things, people from learning the lessons that need to be learned, and people just, like, on the most basic level of these animes, people work hard on drawing these and writing these stories, and if you censor it, it's just like crapping all over their work, and it's not fair.
Yeah. But I'm not even honestly worried about that, because I don't think Japan or the Japanese has a problem with it. This is completely the American reaction.
They don't have a problem with that, but they do have a problem with 17-year-olds smoking.
Hey, don't you attack my beloved JoJo. But, and like, for the next angle of attack, and I know that this was only a few people were saying this, but I just find it hysterical about the entire fascism thing.
Where? Like, if you're just going to apply stereotypes to everything, then wow, you just might as well never watch anything with goblins. Looking at you, people who like Harry Potter, where the goblins are actually
Jewish. No, but like it again, like if I was speechless before when I saw this, I was just awestruck at just how retarded people could be.
It makes no sense. Like, I don't know where their argument's coming from. First off, there's only been 2 episodes. And secondly, it's only showed goblins as goblins. It hasn't shown them as, like, a stereotype for somebody. It's not like there were a bunch of orcs out there.
Well, no. And like the argument isn't that they're showing it as a stereotype of Jews.
It's just that
the argument I've seen, and granted, like I've said, it's not a ton of people, but I've seen, like, I can't remember what sites it was, but they wrote articles about fascism in anime now, and how this is a topic of conversation. But from what I've seen, the people making the argument were saying goblins in general are a stereotype for Jews. So when you have an anime that is going on about how you need to kill all the goblins because they're a worthless, horrible race that needs to be eradicated off the planet, you are, by the transitive property, I assume, saying that Jews need to be killed.
Okay.
Which, first off, if that's not a stretch, I don't know what is.
First off, goblins are mythical creatures. Goblins do not exist. And if you are getting your panties in a twist over some mythical creatures drawn in a Japanese cartoon, maybe you need to go somewhere else.
And it's not even a good comparison. It's like,
no.
Like in Harry Potter, from what the little I've seen, but yeah, goblins are Jews. But that's not like the general thing. It's not like orcs and black people. If there was an anime called Orc Slayer, and it was going on about how orcs need to be eradicated, then you would have, like, it would still be ridiculous and a stretch, but at least you had more footing to stand on, because in Western fantasy, at least, orcs often not, especially in the past 2 decades, 2 to 3, 4, 5, I'll say century, have been comparable to black people. And whether people want to acknowledge that or not, that was the initial interpretations of them.
Right. So, it's just, people need to get lives. There's better things to sit and discuss about and argue about and yell about than whether or not we should be watching a show that has goblins in it, because God forbid somebody somewhere at one time compared goblins to Jews.
Yeah, and the last big complaint I've seen, I would say, is valid, which would be the CG. And I know that you can't really tell the difference.
Nah, my virgin anime eyes definitely couldn't tell the CGI, but like, I definitely, somebody who's more into the art and everything would probably definitely see it. I mean, it's not like Berserk.
Listen, you don't get to say that until you've sat down and watched it.
You showed me the clip. That was enough.
I showed you 2 minutes of it.
That was enough. That's all I needed.
No, but it's not like it's not Berserk level, it's not awful, but it's noticeable.
I didn't even think it was noticeable, but okay.
Well, okay. So that's because most of the series has been set at night and in the dark. So it's a bit harder to notice it, but I guarantee you, if there's like an episode that takes place in a sunny field, you'll notice it.
Okay.
It's not unwatchable. Not at all. It's pretty average, I would say. But still, valid complaint. Well, that was 10.5 minutes of ranting about how people are idiots.
I haven't even talked about the episode yet.
Yeah. Well, let's start with that. So, like we said at the beginning, the majority of this episode was just world building.
Backstories,
flashbacks. We got to see Goblin Slayer's backstory. Why he hates goblins.
I mean, it wasn't an entire backstory.
You don't need the entire backstory. I don't think you'll ever get an entire backstory.
All you need is the gist of it. Is that when he was young, his village was attacked.
Everyone was killed.
All the women were raped. He saw this, and it
broke him as a man.
It broke him, and so he decided to dedicate his life to killing the goblins until they're all gone. Which, I mean, that's kind of a noble cause when you think about it.
Yes, and just to go back to the previous discussion for just a second, yeah, it's really edgy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of the series.
Yeah, I mean, he is edgy, if you haven't noticed.
It's a good old edgy story. I know some people are out there, and unless the anime has like 17 hidden meanings behind everything, then it's just regular edgy, it's bad, it's lazy story. Well, maybe stories can be simple sometimes. And from what I can tell, at least, this is just a simple story about a man with a tragic backstory trying to live his life and do what he believes is right in his world.
Right. And not letting anybody step in the way. Like, there's multiple times where the priest girl is like, oh, we should go help these people. And he's like, well, you can if you want, but this is what I'm doing. Like, he doesn't really care about other people. I mean, he cares about the big picture.
He cares about the greater good.
Right. He cares about everybody, but he doesn't care about, like, individual people.
He's very lawful neutral.
Yeah. Especially, and we saw a lot of that in this episode where he's staying with his childhood friend and
cow titties.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's staying...
I guess we should mention her since she was like half the episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's important because she's part of his backstory. She's his childhood friend, and she went away to go live with her uncle and help him birth baby cows. And then right after she left, everybody died.
Oh, no, wasn't she going to the city?
No, she was going to go help her uncle birth the cows, and he lives near the city.
Oh.
So then she was going to go to the city and go shopping. And she asked him if he wanted anything, and he told her no, because the edge had already started setting in. He could feel the goblins coming, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but overall, just exposition. There was some combat at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He smoked out the goblins.
Which then, if people are looking for evidence, I suppose...
Oy vey, oh
if
no.
If people are looking for the evidence, I suppose there it is. They smoke out the goblins.
Oy vey, I didn't even think about it.
There it is.
The chambers.
Like, there it is. There's your one... But anybody who knows anything about goblins knows that they live in caves. It's like smoking out, gophers. Or anything else. It's how you do it.
I'm waiting for gophers are now allegories for Jews.
Well, shit.
Yeah, and then you see that the priestess is slowly starting to understand him and his ways.
Mm-hmm.
She's still questioning if it's right, but
she's also still kind of like, I mean, she's young. So she's still kind of like, was this right? Is this okay? Like, kind of crying at the end of the episode again, but
no, she didn't
actually cry. It started raining, so.
Yes, but if you think about it, and like, I know I just said that you don't have to have deep stories, but if we're just gonna, like, look deeper into the scene, she understands that killing the goblins is necessary and that they're vile creatures, but she's wondering if it really is the right choice to use the spell of protection that her goddess has granted her, not to protect, but to lock in the goblins as they are being suffocated.
Right, and then at the end she's praying to the goddess and she's saying, like, why would you give me this power? She's kind of questioning, like, her existence, it's that age-old, like, wow, I'm a hero, but why would you give me this? Because I didn't realize that it would actually involve killing people, kind of thing.
And I
mean, goblins aren't people, but you know what I mean.
Oy vey.
Shut up.
No, but just, like, to go along with the theme, if the person who made this never played D&D, I would be shocked.
But they had to have, because in the intro there's dice.
Maybe.
I mean, they're D6s, but
that could be thing.
They're dice, unless it has to do with, like, fate, like the die is cast kind of thing. But
yeah, it's, I don't know. I would say it's my favorite show this season.
Mm-hmm. Aside from, yeah.
Like, out of the non-sequels.
Right, like, I was gonna say aside from, like, JoJo and Sword Art, but they're not new.
You haven't seen either.
Well, but I'm talking for you.
Yeah. But, yeah, good. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's not as good as the first episode, but like I said in the first video, that was the best first episode I've ever seen.
It's a
well, not ever, but...
Well, and this episode was like a ground-laying episode, because obviously you need to know why he's doing what he does, otherwise he just looks like a total jackass, and then everyone would start hating him, so...
Yeah. And then, so there was the opening in this episode.
Mm-hmm. It does show... It alludes to there being a party.
Well, you see the party after the credits.
Yeah. It alludes to there being a party, so that means that it's... In the coming episodes, it's not just going to be Goblin Slayer and the Priest. It's going to be, 3 more people. Yeah.
There was a dwarf with... I couldn't see what weapon. There was an elf archer.
Oh, yeah. The
waifu.
The elf waifu. Yeah.
And then there was, like, a lizard man shaman.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's, I'm looking forward to it.
Would they say the next episode's called Unexpected something?
Something
Unexpected
like that?
Visitors or something like that?
Yeah. So I'm assuming that the party's going to show up in the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Because, they had already started a campaign, and then 3 more people decided that they wanted to play, so they had to put them in. It's like if you're doing, like, Pathfinder Society or Adventurers League or whatever for D&D.
Yeah.
You just gotta drop them in somewhere.
Except this story isn't homosexual.
No, but I mean they had to drop them in somewhere because they weren't there in the beginning.
I mean, my personal experience, if your first session there's goblin rape, there not many people are sticking around nowadays.
No. I did really enjoy, because most of this episode was Goblin Slayer's monologue.
Mm-hmm.
I did really enjoy his monologue from, like, a theatrical kind of linguistic kind of poetic standpoint. It was very nice. I did enjoy that. There wasn't a whole lot of action, but I liked his monologue. It was good. Along with the flashbacks. Definitely. Yeah.
Tits.
Yeah, there's some of that.
Lots and lots of back nudity in this episode.
Yeah, there was a lot of butts in this episode.
I know, it was great.
Yeah. It was okay, I suppose. I'm not really into that.
It's okay. I am. But, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have some cool stuff to talk about next week, because I think next week they're going to be introducing the rest of the party, so we can do like an analysis of the different characters who don't have names.
Hey, a character doesn't have to. Okay, so
Nobody has any names in the show.
Like as the end credits were rolling, it just like hit me that not in like a story way, but just like the general feel of this series reminds me of Dragon Crown. Have you ever played that?
No.
It was this game that came out for the PS3. You know, like the old like arcade adventure games, beat 'em up games.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those, but they released it for the PS3, and there was like a cast of generic fantasy characters, and it was just like a generic fantasy world, and like none of the characters have actual names, it's just their titles, and like it gives me those vibes, and that makes me happy because I love that game.
Is Goblin Slayer based off of a manga, or is it based off of a game?
It's based off of a light novel.
Okay.
And from what I have heard, since I haven't read either, it's more... So it came out as a light novel, then they released a manga, and the anime leans more towards the manga than the light novel.
As they usually do.
Sometimes. But, yeah, I think that's all we have.
Yep.
See you next week.
Bye.